Today we are going to be drawing and working on our Radial Symmetry batiks. Today we are going to start by drawing one section of our artwork. We're going to do that on a piece of tissue paper. Then we will transfer it 4 times so it has radial symmetry. Again, radial symmetry is if it goes through the center axis, through the center. It is the same, it is symmetrical no matter how you do it, because it's the same on in each quarter of the paper. We will eventually put it on fabric, add glue, and do a batik, but we will talk about that more next time. The first thing I want you to do is with your piece of tissue paper, I want you to fold it in half, making a triangle, meeting two of the 4 corners together. So I'm folding it in half to make a triangle, and this has to be perfect, otherwise it will not create radial symmetry. Then we're going to create a design. Now we want to make sure we're keeping it simple, okay, as we are going to be redrawing this many times, and we're going to be tracing it with glue, so we can't do any little details. What you'll notice about this design is I have a lot of my lines going on that center line where the fold is. And that is what will kind of make it look like one piece. So again, I have lots of lines, simple lines, kind of a lot of them going off on this side and coming together, so that when you open it, it looks like that. So once you have your side, you have it folded, you have your tissue paper, you're going to draw lightly, as it's hard to erase on tissue paper, and you're going to come up with a simple design. It can either be very geometric or have more organic shapes. Or a combination of the two. I'm just thinking about what would make it look interesting. Again, keeping it simple. As you will have to trace this multiple times, both with pencil and glue. And that looks like a fairly simple. I have a few shapes, a few lines. Then once you are done drawing it on one side, you are going to trace it with Sharpie, so that we can transfer it onto the other side. So we're going to trace all of your lines with Sharpie. Then, because you've traced it with Sharpie, when you flip it over, I know it'll be a little challenging to see in the video, but you can see those lines through. So we are going to make symmetry by tracing all of those lines again with Sharpie. Once you've traced both sides, you'll notice that when you open it, it makes a design symmetrical. Same on both sides. Now you're ready to transfer it and retrace it 4 times on this 9x9 piece of paper. Before we do that, however, I want to fold this so we have 4 equal sections. So you will fold it in half both ways. Fold it in half this way. Then unfold it and fold it in half the other way so that you can see 4 equal squares. Just like that. Now on the back, somewhere, I want you to write your name. Then you can go ahead and flip it over and we are ready to transfer. you will notice that this fits in all areas. Now before tracing, it's very important that we create radial symmetry. So you'll notice that I decided to put this in the center, and it's in the center for all of them. You can't just move it over, because that will not have radial symmetry. What we're going to do is when we rotate it, we're going to keep it in the middle like this. So you can start anywhere you want. Now to transfer it, we're going to use something, it's carbon copy paper. And this will help us transfer. It's the same size as this. And mine not quite there. Here, this one must be the right size. And you want to have the darker part facing the paper and the lighter green you want to see. And I think I'm going to do this part. This looks interesting, these 3 lines near the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start up at the top corner, line it up, make sure it's in the corner. Now you want to hold it with one hand, and all you're going to do is trace it with the other. Of course, keeping track of where you've already traced. You don't need to press too hard. The important thing is remembering where you've traced. It's easy to forget where we've traced, and you don't want to move it. So make sure you're holding it really carefully so you don't move the paper. And you'll notice that it transferred lightly on your paper. Now I'm not even going to pick it up. What I'm going to do the next square is I'm going to put my finger in the middle, and I'm just going to rotate it so that this line goes in the middle. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trace over my lines. Now you don't need to keep watching me trace. So once I'm done with this, you can see it transferred. I would finish, keep my finger in the middle, and rotate it. Do this quadrant. Then keep it in the middle so that all the designs are the same and transferred. When you are done, and you have all 4 finished and traced, you can go over it with Sharpie. Then you are done with this step, and we are ready to transfer it to a piece of white cloth.